Hello my darlings, I hope you're all doing very well. Hope you're sitting comfortably, you are cozy, you have your beverages. You probably wouldn't want snacks for this video, let me tell you. So if you have a very sensitive stomach, this probably isn't a good video to have snacks with. But hey, if you're feeling brave, go for it. So I have recently come across two cases of people's tattoos not healing very well. The first one I'm going to talk about really didn't warrant enough content to make just one singular video, so I thought I would just lump it in with another topic that I want to talk about. They both are related when it comes to people's tattoos not healing very well, so they go together. I just want to do a content warning. The at least first one I'm going to talk about is kind of graphic. I'd imagine if you have a weak or very sensitive stomach or what have you, it might not be something that you can handle, or you may want to look through like peeping eyes or whatever, or just like look away, I don't know. So the first one I'm going to talk about is someone that got a script tattoo and the tattoo fell off. Yes, it literally fell off. You heard me right, okay? It fell off. This image has been doing its rounds on social media. I've also been sent this a few times and tagged in it a few times. That's another reason why I wanted to make a video, just so you know that I'm aware of this. As you can see, it's something that looks so horrifically painful and gross. I swear if this happened to me, I would have a full-on meltdown. So the image says, "Damn, my tat fell off." And then I think it was reposted and it says, "The fuck, I've blocked this out, but it's the M-word. Ain't take care of his shit at all." You can literally see the D of this tattoo has fallen off into this person's hand. I've seen the odd case of something like this a few times while making content over the years, mainly when I'm looking at bad tattoos or self-done tattoos, especially when I look at Amazon tattoo machine reviews where people buy the tattoo machines from Amazon, they do the tattoos themselves, and it can go pretty badly. But I don't think I've ever seen something this extreme, especially for it to fall out completely with that D. That is, ooh. When I first saw this, I instantly knew that this probably wasn't a client error. In my opinion, I'm not a professional, but in my opinion, from looking at content and tattoos over the years and learning about how tattoos heal and what can go wrong, I would definitely say that this is an allergic reaction to the ink that was used, or the artist just was not clean at all. But I'm leaning more towards the tattoo ink allergy, just because it's the whole of the tattoo. Normally when you don't look after a tattoo, yes, it can get infected and there can be problems. Normally when someone doesn't look after their tattoo well, it just heals pretty badly. It becomes patchy, there's bits missing here and there, which again can happen anyway even if you do look after your tattoos. But you can normally tell a difference between someone that has looked after their tattoos and someone that hasn't. Tattoo artists can see it straight away. So yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards the fact that this person had a reaction to the ink or something that was used during the tattoo process. Justine Lucy, who I have mentioned a few times across my videos, she is a professional tattoo artist and she doesn't know it yet, but she's like my professional sidekick, okay? As well as being a super talented tattoo artist, she does talk about the current events within tattooing quite a lot. It's nice to look at what she says about things from a professional point of view. Anyway, she reposted the photo and said what I thought had happened, but in a much more professional way, so it's probably best that I share that. So Justine said, "Likely wasn't the aftercare. This is an autoimmune reaction leading to cellular..." One day I will learn to speak English. "It's a cell rejection," okay? She said cell rejection, likely from the ink. Body basically walled off blood supply to the area until it died and then fell off for its own protection. Definitely should seek medical help due to the increased infection risk." And then under that, she put, "His body said, we don't know her." I feel like this person is going to end up with a scar instead of a tattoo, so they'll still have the god on their skin, but it'll be a scar and not the tattoo. I'm not sure who posted this photo, whether it was a friend or a tattoo artist, but I do hope that the person that has this tattoo or now scar did talk to the tattoo artist and try and figure out what happened, why it happened, and to make note of the tattoo ink that was used so they know not to use that again should that have been the issue. I also hope they did seek medical help, because this could get a lot worse should that open wound get infected. Oh boy. Yeah, you're better off going to the doctor, possibly getting antibiotics, because you do not want something like this going into sepsis, which then could lead to organ failure, which then could lead to death. I know that sounds so incredibly serious and sort of fear-mongering, but it does happen. I also want to take note that this person has melanated skin, and melanated skin is a lot more prone to keloids, especially when it comes to stuff like this with scarring, etc. So yeah, it doesn't mean that that's going to happen, but I do hope that they have taken the precautions and gone to a medical professional, and I just hope that they are looking after themselves and taking this seriously, because this is serious. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one that I want to talk about. It's in the same genre of someone's tattoo not healing very well, but this time it is with Ephemeral Tattoo. We'll be talking about someone who made a few videos on TikTok who goes by the name Marlo. Marlo is a musician who documented the fact that she had an ephemeral tattoo and it did not heal right at all over a period of months. Okay, we're not talking, you know, sometimes people's tattoos take a little bit longer to heal than others or whatever. We're talking months and months and months at this point. Before we take a closer look at Marlo's tattoo, I just quickly want to let you know what ephemeral tattoos are. I'm sure the majority of you are aware, but if you're not, then I'll let you know here. It's just a quick recap, not a huge deep dive or anything like that. So ephemeral tattoos are meant to be, I want to put that in bold in capital letters, they are meant to be semi-permanent. They're not meant to last long, like a regular tattoo that is meant to last the whole of your life. They claim to last around about 3 years. During those 3 years, the tattoo that you get from ephemeral is meant to fade over time to the point where it is no longer existent and you cannot see it anymore. When they first come about, they claimed that they only lasted around about a year. As more and more people got the ephemeral tattoos, there was more and more complaints from people who were saying they haven't faded, they're still about even after the year mark, or they are taking a lot longer than stated to fade. So this is where Ephemeral were like, okay, fine, we'll now say that they last, you know, around about 3 years. This in itself, to me, is very suspicious that they had to change their claim. It makes me wonder, how much testing did they actually do before putting this to market? The artists that do ephemeral tattoos use a special ink that's made to fade, kind of like cosmetic tattooing with microblading, eyeliner, etc. The artists that do cosmetic tattooing use a special ink that isn't meant to last forever. Ephemeral have multiple locations. They've got one in Brooklyn, Houston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Washington, and Chicago. Ephemeral are truly fighting a losing battle, in my opinion, just because there has been so many complaints made against them. But they are determined with what they claim. They are determined that their tattoos do fade, and the people that haven't had their tattoos fade are just rare cases, but those rare cases are very, very prominent. There is a lot of them. Their TikTok is full of content that states and stresses that their tattoos fade. They had a TikTok go viral a little while ago, to which quite a few people that have had ephemeral tattoos in the past and tattoo artists stitched or did a duet, and they were like, oh my god, this person has 47 tattoos and they're not gonna fade. I think I might have even reacted to one in my TikTok reaction series, and yeah, they had to turn the comments off because of the backlash. To me, ephemeral is pretty gimmicky. I've always been indifferent about ephemeral, but the more I see about it, the more I'm like, oh, I don't know if it's worth the risk, you know, because you're potentially having to pay extra money to either have this tattoo removed via laser or then have a actual tattoo to cover up the fading tattoo or the tattoo that hasn't disappeared completely, so you're left with blotches all over your skin and what have you. You're basically just spending more money to fix something that shouldn't have to be fixed. Anyway, let's go back to Marlo. Marlo has uploaded a series of TikToks recently documenting the fact that her ephemeral tattoo never healed at all. She states in the past that she has had regular tattoos done the traditional way and she's never had any issues with those. So it's not the getting a tattoo process that she's ever had an issue with. That's what's led her up to believe that there is something throughout the process of getting a ephemeral tattoo that has been the problem.
I have, you know, regular tattoos. I know that my body can deal with that.
Marlo then states that she doesn't have a problem with the tattoo artist that did the tattoo, but more so the company Ephemeral themselves.
Just to be clear, this video is about Ephemeral, the company, not the lovely woman who gave me my tattoo. I think she did a wonderful job. This is my arm with a stencil on it. This is the tattoo immediately when I had it finished.
The tattoo looks pretty good in my opinion. It looks a little bit irritated, but that's pretty normal. Well, for me anyway, when I have any kind of tattoo done, I'm always super red and irritated for about a day, 2 days, 3 days afterwards. But yeah, nothing looks super concerning to me from day one when it comes to Marlo's ephemeral tattoo. Marlo then went on to discuss the first few days of healing the tattoo and how healing an ephemeral tattoo is a lot different than healing a regular tattoo.
I know this looks disgusting. This is a part of the ephemeral tattoo healing process. They put hydrocolloid, I don't know if I said that right, patches on instead of your regular kind of second skin, and it's supposed to pull from the tattoo. It is supposed to look like that. I'm just posting it so if anyone from the company watches it, they know that I was following the correct healing protocols. This is what it looked like after I was able to take the bandages off. Not too bad, a little raised, a little red, all to be expected per their aftercare instructions. This is it still during the healing process, and still everything was looking okay. It takes a way longer to heal. It takes 8 weeks to heal.
I cannot imagine having the dry, itchy phase for 8 weeks. That would drive me absolutely insane. It's my least favorite part of healing a tattoo. I pretty much lose sleep during that phase because I'm so dry and itchy and there's nothing that can ever really relieve it. So to go through that for 8 weeks, oh my lord. I don't know if it would be as intense as a regular tattoo, but I'm assuming so.
This was my tattoo when it was supposed to be fully healed. I reached out to the company and that's when they told me, oh, in certain cases, it can take up to 6 months to heal. If it's still not healed in 6 months, mind you, it's supposed to only be there for a year. Reach out to us.
6 months. Okay, 6 months. Are you kidding me with this? 6 months? I would again lose my damn mind going through all of that for 6 months. Regular tattoos take 4 to 6 weeks to heal, to go through all the healing stages. So you go through the first stage, which is when you first get the tattoo done. It's super painful or tender for about 3, 4, 5 days. And then you go through the phase of it becoming dry, itchy, scabby for, I don't know, for me it's like a week to 2 weeks, and then it starts to peel, and then you're kind of left with a pretty shiny tattoo. And for me, that shiny stage takes about a month to 2 months to 3 months, depending on the style of tattoo, whether it's color or black work, how saturated the tattoo is. But yeah, it takes about, let's say, 4 months to fully settle down and to look like actual skin, like the rest of my tattoos. Anyway, the way Ephemeral dealt with this is so damn careless to me. To me, it sounds like they were like, well, that's a you problem. It's got nothing to do with us. I don't want to deal with this. This is, I'm washing my hands of it. What happens after the tattoo session is a you problem. I don't care. Marlo then goes on to talk about how she's been dealing with this for months.
This is my arm at the fully healed stage post 6 months. This is what it looked like pretty much all of the time. After that, anytime it would get hot, all of the lines would raise and my skin would get super, super bumpy. It looks awful. Disgusting. It just constantly looked red and bad. And when it wasn't super raised, it looked like this, no matter how much I moisturized it. And again, this is supposed to be when it's healed and looking like a normal tattoo. You can see that the ink is fading, but my skin itself isn't healing. Most of the time, it looked like this. I kept reaching out to Ephemeral. They kept telling me there was nothing they could do. They kept telling me to come back. When it got to this stage and it lived in this stage for quite some time, they told me to just go see a doctor, offered no advice, and just told me that I must have had a bad reaction.
This whole thing just sounds horrific to me. I would be beyond annoyed at this situation. You shouldn't have to deal with such annoyance months and months and months and months after getting a tattoo. And of course, Ephemeral do not care at all. This just solidifies my thoughts that Ephemeral is a gimmick. They don't care about their clients whatsoever. They just want their clients' money, and then what happens after that is not a them problem, it's a you problem. Spoiler alert though, they do eventually reach out to Marlo because of course they saw her TikToks and they wanted to do damage control. Marlo then talks about the reason as to why she got the ephemeral tattoo and her plan for the ephemeral tattoo once it had started to fade.
My whole intention with this tattoo is that if I liked it, I was going to have it gone over with permanent ink, which you were supposed to be able to do after the 6 month mark, but I obviously was not able to do that because my skin looked like that, and no tattoo artist in their right mind would want to tattoo over that.
She then talks about the fact that she was one of the lucky ones and her tattoo did eventually start to fade and it got a little bit better, and then she was able to get the tattoo done for real in the traditional way, the permanent way.
Finally, at a year out, my skin was the most healed it had been. The tattoo was pretty faded. You can't tell in this photo, but the skin was still raised and it was also stretched, so it had permanent scar tissue damage on my left arm now. As you can see, I was able to find a tattoo artist, someone who I've worked with before, who was willing to go over it, and they used the type of ink that they knew my body would absorb. You can see that over the previous tattoo, the scar tissue did get a little bit inflamed during the session, but honestly, it wasn't too bad. And here is my arm after the second shading session. Again, as you can see, you can kind of see the red lines there of the previous tattoo. It took a long time to heal, but again, nothing was nearly as bad as the ephemeral tattoo healing process. And oh God, I love my little jellyfish now. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I think the tattoo is beautiful. It's really well done, especially as the tattoo artist had to work around a fading tattoo. And I'm so glad it's worked out for the better for Marlo after everything that she has been through. It sucks that Marlo had a super long journey to get to where she wants to be, but I'm glad she got there in the end. Marlo then goes on to do a warning about ephemeral tattoos and how she thinks you should stay away from them. And honestly, I do not blame her.
I just wish that I had just gotten this from the get-go, and do not give your money to Ephemeral Tattoo. It is a scam. I have heard no one having a good experience. Do not waste your money, time, and energy in possible skin infection. If that infection had gotten worse, after an entire year, it was infected for an entire year, it was never healed. I guess that's it. Thank you.
I would honestly say take her advice. I personally do not think they're worth it at all. If you want to figure out if you like tattoos on your body, the best way to go about it is temporary tattoos. You can buy them from many places, especially Etsy, or you can also buy something called Inkbox where you can make your own tattoos with their special ink, or they have an array of temporary tattoos already designed for you, and the quality of them is pretty good. I've tried them out a couple of times and I would say they are the most realistic temporary tattoo you can get. Marlo then went on to answer a series of questions to do with her experience. There's this one from someone who suggested that she could take legal action against Ephemeral.
Seeing a lot of comments like this, at the end of the day, I was still agreeing to let someone put a needle in my body. So the way I see it, I was assuming risk too. Do I wish that the company offered me at the very least a refund or was better with their customer care? Sure. But I assumed some risk when, they put a needle in my body. It was also my mistake.
I completely understand her take on it. At the end of the day, she did sign up to do this. She did consent for this to happen, but she didn't consent to the complications. Nobody really signs up for that, do they? But I guess, again, she did consent to the tattoo being done, etc. And of course, there is always risks when you get tattooed. That being said, I feel like if she and the many others that have had issues with Ephemeral banded together, I think they could have a case on their hands, to be honest with you. Ephemeral, at the least, need to take more responsibility for their actions and what is happening to their clients. And I fully believe they need to do a lot more testing because clearly they haven't done enough. Marlo then goes on to talk about the fact that Ephemeral try and target those that cannot get tattoos or permanent tattoos for religious reasons, as they claim that the tattoos completely disappear. But when you see the TikTok and the comment that Marlo is responding to, scar tissue is left, so therefore you are technically altering your body, which a lot of religious people choose not to do.
I agree with this 100%. When I was there, a lot of the artists were telling me how a large portion of their clientele are those practicing faiths where permanent body modification is not prohibited in their religion. So this was a great kind of alternative to that, to allow people practicing different faiths to get tattoos that aren't going to last forever. But I don't think that's honest advertising, and I don't think it's fair. I know, I had my infection, a lot of people's tattoos aren't fading.
Yeah, I feel like Ephemeral has a very, very dark side. There is something going on here. Nobody is being honest whatsoever. I feel like it's a money-making scheme, and they are targeting those that are not sure on getting permanent tattoos for whatever reason, or those that are religious and want a tattoo but not for the rest of their life. I feel like the majority of us would admire Ephemeral if they were honest about everything. If they said, hey, we have done testing, our tattoos are meant to fade within 1 to 3 years, whatever the number is, but there is a huge chance that it won't. And then I feel like everyone would respect this company a bit more and wouldn't dunk on it so bad. I certainly wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, at least they're honest, you know, but they're not. Okay, so like I said earlier in my spoiler alert, Ephemeral did reach out to Marlo because of her TikToks. I know, shocking, right? Like damage control, like I was saying. So the email says, Ephemeral Tattoo Experience. Good afternoon, Marlo. I oversee the customer experience and operations of our Ephemeral Tattoo studios. I came across your recent TikTok posting and would like to prioritize the opportunity to speak with you on the phone if you are available and are interested in having a conversation. Please let me know if you have a preferred time and contact number for the conversation. I look forward to speaking with you soon. I'm honestly fuming for Marlo. I'm just angry, and this isn't even me, okay? I don't have a right to be angry, but the fact that they didn't take her seriously to start off with and have only just taken her seriously because she is talking about her experience on TikTok, I feel like they are on high alert and they are, like I have said, doing some extreme damage control. As a company dealing with scarring people for life potentially, okay, you should care about your clients from the goddamn start. As soon as they book that appointment, that client is now your responsibility. If they have any issues after getting the tattoo, that is a you problem. Unless, of course, the client has been careless with aftercare or whatever, then even still though, you should still offer advice, right? And I'm not saying Marlo has done anything wrong here, but the fact that they only care now that there is another person talking about how bad ephemeral tattoos are. Ooh, red flags, major red flag. Marlo then went on to update everyone with how the conversation with someone at Ephemeral went.
The man I spoke to was very, very kind. I did get a refund. He apologized. He said that this experience should have never happened. He said that he's going to look at all of the communication I've had and hopefully this won't happen again to anyone else. I did suggest that they disclose what's in their dyes, especially because their website claims that they use food dyes. There are tons of people with food dye allergy. He did say that this is something that they can't do, but that if you have an allergy, you can ask at your appointment if whatever your allergy is in the dye, which I don't know if people would have the foresight to ask that question. Overall, I'm happy that they handled this experience, and I do think they can be more transparent, and it is sad that they wouldn't reach out until I posted that video that got some attention, but that's the update and the end of this saga for now.
First of all, I'm glad that she got a refund. Okay, that is nice, I guess. I mean, that's the least they could do, right? But I still feel like that isn't enough. But then again, what else can they do at this point? And another red flag for me is the fact that they refuse to list the ingredients of the ink anywhere. What's that about? Like, that's a bit weird to me. Like, what are they actually hiding? They probably want to protect their ink and make it so nobody can copy it or whatever, but to be honest, would you want to copy this ink if people are continuously having issues with it? Probably not, but it's a fact that they are very opaque, right? That's the opposite of transparent. Yeah, okay. They're not transparent at all, so yeah. And like Marlo said, people aren't really going to think to ask about the ingredients within this ink. I mean, maybe if you do have severe allergies, then you might ask. I don't know. I'm not allergic to anything, so I've not had any experience with that. Do let me know down below if you have severe allergies, and if you have ever asked a tattoo artist, you know, about everything that they use and if there's anything that is used that you could be allergic to. My opinions of Ephemeral have always been, you know, like a little bit indifferent. I've always been a bit like, well, you know, you do you, boo, it's your body, your choice, and what have you. And sometimes I have leaned a bit more towards that it's not really worth it, but as of now, seeing Marlo's story and how Ephemeral have dealt with it, I'm very much leaning towards the whole not worth the risk. This company doesn't really care about their clients unless you make a huge fuss about it, which shouldn't be the way. You should get answers and a caring response from the get-go. And yeah, the fact that people are paying for a tattoo that should fade but sometimes doesn't fade, and the fact that you could have a tattoo that doesn't heal correctly at all, or you could have a reaction, etc. Yeah, it's just not worth it to me. So yeah, that is it for today's video. Please stay safe out there. Make sure you look after you. If you have any issues with any tattoos, always contact your tattoo artist, or in Marlo's case, the Ephemeral, but you probably won't get a good answer, so what's the point, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Stay safe out there, and until my next one, bye.